Good morning. Today we are working on Po68, continuing with those areas of different shapes. And we are going to be calculating the area of a triangle and a trapezoid. So now we're starting to get into, we know how to work with triangles. We've been exposed to that. This is the formula to use. And now we're going to work with the trapezoid also, which is going to be new for us. So we're starting with something that we kind of know about, and we're adding on something new. So first thing to do is remind ourselves what an area is. The area is the number of square units needed to cover a figure. So just like when we were finding that area of the rectangle, the area of the square. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the triangle. A triangle is a three-sided figure. All right, we worked with the types of triangles with their degrees and the angles and with their side lengths and names of that go with that. Now we're talking about the area. So the formula for the area of a triangle is we call it 1/2 times the base times the height. So when we're looking at our triangle, the base is what's on the bottom, and the height is from the base directly up to the tip of our triangle, and it makes a right angle. So sometimes we have triangles that look like this. Sometimes we have triangles that look like this. So our base is always that bottom, and we go to where that tip is directly down. It's perpendicular with that base to make that right angle. So this is our height, this is our height. Sometimes we have a triangle that looks like this. So our base is that bottom line, and then we have to go from the base directly up to this tip. And the tip is over here, so I need to come perpendicular directly down to where this base would come across. So I have that right angle, so my height is directly from where that base would be straight up to that tip part of the triangle. So that height is not a side of the triangle. Okay, the height is going from the base directly up, straight up to the tip of the triangle, so we can see that right angle from the base to the height. Now our trapezoid is a quadrilateral with exactly one pair of parallel lines or parallel sides. So a trapezoid could look like this. It could look like that. Okay. Trapezoids have 4 sides because it's a quadrilateral. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. 2 of them are parallel. They go straight across from each other. And then the other 2 sides are slanted. Okay, so they're going to be slanted somehow. The formula for the area of a trapezoid can be written in 2 different ways. One, the area of the trapezoid could be 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2 times the height. So base 1, base 2. Those 2 parallel sides, 1 and 2, the 2 parallel sides. The height is going to be just like our triangle. It's, well, not just like the triangle. It's going to be going directly from base 1 up to base 2. When I say it's like that triangle, we want that right angle in there. So again, it's not a side length. It's the measurement going straight from base 1 up to base 2, making that right angle. So going directly up from base 1 to base 2, right angle, that is our height. So the height goes straight up and down. It is not a side. So for the triangle, for the trapezoid, when you go directly up, making that right angle, not the side length. Sometimes they will give us a side length as extra information. You need to be able to figure out what the two parallel bases are that go straight on top of each other, and what the height is from one base to the next base, making that right angle. That's the key thing we're looking for, is that right angle for our height. Do not be distracted by extra information with the extra sides. Now, I said there are two ways to do the area of a trapezoid. This is one way to do it, or some people like to write it out a little bit differently, and they would say base 1 plus base 2, then we divide that by 2. So over here we said a half, over here we're saying divide it by 2. It means the same thing, and then we multiply that by the height. Now, when you're putting this into your calculator, some of us have discovered that if you write it all out and you say the base 1 number plus the base 2 number, and then you divide it by 2, it follows PERMDAS. Your calculator is pretty smart. So don't do that. Do base 1 plus base 2 equals whatever it equals. That's what you divide by 2. Otherwise, it's going to take that base 2 and divide it by 2, and then add that base. You want to make sure that you are adding first. So when you use your calculator, you do your addition, equal it, and then do your division or multiplication. So let's see how this works, putting it into action, doing both of our shape areas, doing the triangle area and doing the trapezoid area. I'm going to walk us through how to use these. So we're going to imagine, let's look at what this says before. It says, just like a parallelogram, the height of a triangle and trapezoid is not the diagonal side. Do not be distracted by it. The height is a vertical line, again, either imagined or drawn in, that connects the top of the figure to the bottom, and we see that right angle in there. Do not be distracted by slanty side area or lengths. Okay, cross off information that we don't need. So if we look at our first triangle, I know my base is on the bottom. I know my height is where I see the right angle. So this is my height. This is extra information. Don't need it. This is extra information. Don't need it. Okay. Cross off what you don't need so you don't get distracted by it. So the area of my triangle equals 1/2 of the base times the height. So down here I'm going to put it in the numbers I know. 1/2. My base is 15. My height is 8. So if I put that into my calculator, 15 times 8 times 1/2 times 0.5, or divided by 2 means the same thing. 15 times 8 divided by 2, I get my area equals 60. We're going to do that same thing with our other two triangles. Cross off extra information. Make sure you're looking for your base being that bottom line, your height being where that right angle is connecting that height to your base. Cross off extra information. Put your numbers into your equation, 1/2 base times height, and then solve it. So now for my trapezoid, I'm going to label these. I know my base 1 is on the bottom, my base 2 is on the top, and my height, I'm gonna look for that right angle where base 1 goes directly up to base 2. That is my height. So always, always, always look for the right angle. Now I'm going to put it in. I personally like to use the second formula. I like to say that the area of the trapezoid equals base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times my height. So base 1 is 10 plus base 2 is 6. I'm going to divide that by 2, and then I'm going to multiply that by my height of 7. So that equals 10 plus 6 is 16 divided by 2 times 7. 16 divided by 2 is 8 times 7. 8 times 7 equals 56. So I get 56 for my answer. My area of that trapezoid would be 56. Be careful when you have all these numbers given in there. Cross off the ones that you don't need. Hint, hint, the slanty sides. Don't get confused by the slanty sides. Remember, base 1, base 2, label them. The height with the right angle, label it. Cross off the slanty sides. No slanty sides needed. It is just there to confuse you. So cross it off. So let's see what is on the bottom of this page. You're going to do the last two of the triangles and the trapezoids, finding their areas. And on the bottom it says, consider a triangle with a base of 25 and a height of 12, and a trapezoid with base lengths of 8 and 12 and a height of 15. Sketch and label both figures below. So you're going to draw a triangle. Make its base 25 and make its height 12. Draw a trapezoid. It has the base 1 of 12, that base 2 on top of 8, has a height of 15. Draw it, put those numbers in where they would be. Remember, those heights have that right angle. And then you're going to find the area of both of those shapes using those formulas. And then you're going to circle the one that is bigger. Then it says, by how much? So how much bigger is it? So we would subtract them to see what their difference is, how much bigger it is. So if you have any questions, make sure that I will be back tomorrow, so we will go over this page tomorrow when we correct it. If you have any questions, make sure you are asking me, and we can work it through. I hope you are well, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.